Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.L.S here, back in another video. I hope you're well wherever you are, and I hope this video is not too narcissistic of me, as I say. I'm not even saying that yet. Sorry. But yeah, I know I'm talking about my own plans, but I hope you find it interesting to hear how my mind works, as strange as it is. Hopefully it's not too creepy or whatever. Just kidding. But anyway, here are some of my plans for the rest of September. Unfortunately, I didn't quite manage to plan it as well as I'd like, but for the start of the month, and I've been a bit procrastinating, if you like, or indecisive or whatever, which I suppose is the same thing. Anyhow, here goes. So number 21, I would love to get back to focusing on supporting the indigenous people of the Americas from across the Americas, not just America itself, but Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, Peru, Chile, and basically all of the Americas. I'm not very good at geography, so I can't name that many of them, but I've heard of a few of them, like who play football or whatever, or soccer for any Americans out there. But yeah, so I'd love to get back to ideas to empower indigenous people of the Americas, and one of the things is probably listening to them and what their goals are, and that sort of thing. I also hope to get back into my writing. Number 22, on the subject of indigenous people of the Americas and how I hope to help them, I would and listening to them and things like that, I would love to encourage Italian football or soccer or calcio or footy or whatever term you want to call it, Italian teams and Celtic to invest in having supporters clubs and academies amongst indigenous people in the Americas. So combining my love for Italian football and Celtic with my desire to support indigenous people in the Americas, and probably change the image of Italian football and make it less prejudiced or less racist, perhaps, and like improve relations. And maybe there could be in the future, like cultural, if people start traveling again, maybe there could be cultural trips where Italians learn about other cultures and other cultures learn about Italy through football, again, soccer, calcio, footy, or whatever you want to call it. On that note, I'd love to hear what your word for football is in your country, if you're watching overseas, like in China or India or elsewhere in Asia, like Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, or anywhere else in Asia or Africa or wherever. What is your local what is the word for football in your local language? I'd love to hear that, so please comment that in the comment section below. But again, as I say, I'd love to work on my writing and an idea for like an empowerment plan for indigenous people from the Americas, including, as I say, sports clubs and things like that, fundraising for such, including like Italian teams and Celtic having sports clubs and academies in those communities to get them into football or soccer or calcio or footy or again or whatever you want to call it. Number 23, I would love to fundraise and do as much fundraising as possible, including for people from places like parts of Asia, like Pakistan and India and other parts of Asia which have gone through lots of natural disasters, and also the Horn of Africa as well, and places like that. So I'd love to do this fundraising for people in need, and I'd love to hear your ideas as well. I'll read about your ideas in the comment section about what you think the best ways to ensure that fundraising or funds that are raised basically reach the right areas which are most in need, and how they can actually ensure they can help people as much as possible, so that, as I say, it actually reaches those that it needs to target, if you know what I mean, like those who are most in need around the world. Number 24, I would love to do at least an hour's writing a day if I could organise my time a bit better. And the problem I have sometimes is I like to be spontaneous or random, but then sometimes I think if I do that, I know I've mentioned this before a while back, but if I do that, a lot of times I do struggle to meet my goals. Sometimes I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place in a way, because if I'm too planned, rigid and structured and not flexible or spontaneous enough, if you like, if I set my plans in stone, so to speak, it's not quite as fun, but at the same time maybe I do get more done. So that's a bit of a dilemma, because I sort of want things to be just so, or I want to work on things in a certain way. For instance, like I say, like doing an hour's writing a day and things like that. So I'd love to hear any tips as well about how to balance that. Maybe I could have at least a rough guide, which is not set in stone, so I can work around it, but at least which I think I have been trying to do, but I struggle to stick to it. So it's difficult. It's a difficult one to. How do you stick to your goals? I'd love to hear that, read that in the comment section as well. Number 25, again, I would love to focus as much as I can on supporting Indigenous people from the Americas. Again, listening to Indigenous people from the Americas about what sort of things they want to see. I talked before about how I'd love for AC Milan, an Italian football team, to be the first to have football academies, and then followed by other Italian teams and Celtic as well, and then maybe M.L.S, Major League Soccer, EPL, English Premier League, and other such teams from other leagues would probably want to follow suit. M.L.S, I suppose, is in America as well, and also Brazilian, Argentinian, and other such soccer teams, if you like, again, football teams or whatever you want to call them, might follow suit. But obviously, the fact that they are from the Americas as well, they might want to help their local indigenous population. Maybe AC Milan could form a partnership with teams from across the Americas as well, which is a new idea of mine. And I talked about how AC Milan plays in black and red, so I know it's a bit of a stereotype. Excuse me, it's a bit of a stereotype, but excuse me, sorry, seem to be losing my voice again, which is quite annoying. But yeah, the stereotype that they call red Indians instead of Native Americans, which is obviously a bit outdated. And I know there's a controversial thing with the Washington Redskins about the mascot and the use of the term red to describe them. So I was thinking of it symbolically, but maybe like Native Americans could talk to AC Milan, and AC Milan could have on their YouTube channel like videos about interviewing Native Americans about what sort of terms they find more acceptable or pleasing and that sort of thing, what sort of things they want to see in the future, and how AC Milan could support them financially as well as in terms of football or soccer or whatever you want to call it. Number 26, again, I'd love to reparate Indigenous people as much as possible and list them as much as possible and support empowerment of such people. And hopefully, again, Italian football and Celtic could fundraise for them in areas like STEM and business and all sorts of areas where they could be empowered in the future, and helping them to get certain land and certain rights and representation politically and things like that. So, and also like different organisations hopefully will help. And it'd be great if music and sport and other such areas was used to fundraise for supporting Indigenous people in the Americas in all sorts of areas which are most empowering for them. And there could be committees or think tanks which talk about the best ways to empower them and learn about their culture and history, including their cuisine and all sorts of things like that, their culture generally and things like that. Number 27, I hope to like have a list of the top sponsors and supporters of Indigenous people from the Americas, or Native people from the Americas generally, as I say, stressing specifically not just the Americas, but all of the not just America, sorry, but all of the Americas generally. And number 28, hopefully I can turn the situation around and help them to improve their situation as much as possible, and look at the best ways to support them legally, how legal teams can support them, how businesses can invest in them, and how charities and NGOs can also invest in their communities and help them, I say, in areas like STEM and other such areas of empowerment. Number 29, as ever, I'd love to hear your views, and I'd love to look into how neurodiverse people could support Native Americans or Indigenous people from the Americas, and how Indigenous people from the Americas could learn about neurodiverse people. And number 30, as ever, I'd love to hear from your ideas and hope to work on my plans as much as possible, hopefully making the world a better place and things like that. So again, I'd love to hear what you think, and I'm out. Peace and love.